And last but not least, we have Album of the Year.
Fourth annual Audioface Awards Album of the Year.
Arguably the most important award to give. And this year is very, very difficult to pick a winner. Normally, like
definitely the most difficult year ever.
In other years as well, like there have been standouts. Like for me, 2018, 1975, that was like a standout year for them. You had like the horrors, like exploding up for us in 2017. I mean, there's a lot that just usually like one kind of picks out, but these 6 albums are just equally good.
Good in their own ways together, going equally. So we've talked a lot about these albums, and we'll talk a little bit about them more in just a second, but just to get them listed off, we have RTJ4 by Run the Jewels, Limbo by Amine, Energy by Disclosure, After Hours by The Weeknd, The Slow Rush by Tame Impala, and Shore by Fleet Foxes. These have all... Oh, that's a new way to make my computer multitask. These have all gotten awards and recognition in their own right in earlier parts of this very award show. So we could just go in a random order. Run the Jewels 4. Again, Run the Jewels have been doing the same thing they have always been doing, which is very hard-hitting, in-your-face, electronic, like, rap music that has to do with, like, breaking down the system, fuck the government, and all that kind of shit. And it just happens to be the right moment in history when everyone wanted that, and they delivered it in the best way they ever have.
Yes. It's a perfect album for the perfect moment.
Like, triangulation at its finest.
Exactly.
Limbo by Amine, I think it just has a lot of really nice vibes in there. It does rap pop in like the best way I think it's been done in 2020. Really deep pop songs about really deep emotional things that feature just really great artists from around the way. We talk a lot about compensating, but Pressure in My Palms with Slow Tie and Vince Staples. And that little vocal singing thing at the end is great. Amine has just got talent for years, honestly. And it's great to see
really enjoying his work this year. You have Energy by Disclosure.
Yes. And while not quite our favorite electronic album of the year,
as an album as a whole, just on its own, Jesus.
Yeah, as an experience of 2020. I think the only thing that let me down about this album is that 2020 didn't really allow this album to be played in dance clubs.
And also
it didn't really get its life.
Yeah, so that's one thing that kind of was held down a tiny bit, but no fault to its own.
Yeah.
You have After Hours by The Weeknd, which...
snubbed as hell by the Grammys.
Yeah, racist ass Grammys. It's an album that made Dan actually like The Weeknd, which is something that I did not expect.
Yeah.
Going in, both of us were expecting to just be like, it's going to be bland, and maybe one or two good songs. Starboy 2, exactly. Might be like, there's like 3 good songs on Starboy, and the rest is bleh. But this is top to bottom an amazing work from him. It's a compilation of all of his work previous and now moving forward into a completely different version of himself, and something and growing up and maturing as an artist that is great to see from him, as someone who has been, a prominent artist for almost a decade now, and has the song of the year for me, Blinding Lights, on it. You have Heartless that Metro Boomin did the production on. That was amazing. You have After Hours Until Bleed Out is some of my favorite album enders. There's a lot on that are just fantastic. Then you have The Slow Rush from Tame Impala. That is, we have that. It was our alternative album of the year, and it's one of his best works that have come up so far. A very unique album in regards to how it's sampled different effects of his own work, and then it just the way the construction is, the drums, the vocal effects, all the other stuff and experimentation he did to make an album be gorgeous, and there's not 1 second of filler on that album at all.
Yeah.
And then to end it off, we have Shore by Fleet Foxes, which is an interesting album for me because I normally do not like folk and stuff. I am a Fleet Foxes fan, but normally I usually maybe half an album of theirs, and the rest of the album to me is filler. Again, like The Slow Rush, there is no filler on this album. Everything is connected. It is beautiful, and this shows you what talented musicians can do when they are given free realm to do what they want, and beautiful voices, harmony, guitar work stuff. There's a lot in here that is gorgeous and fantastic, and makes me hopeful for a lot of music going on in the future.
Yeah, it helps you see that music can really take a lot of different forms and take from a lot of different genres and come together in a really beautiful work. and repeatedly in a lot of different ways. Because each of these albums represents, even though you can put them in alternative rock, electronic, rap, whatever, they represent bringing a lot of different ideas from all different aspects of music together in a work to represent what is happening in like late 2019, early 2020. They're all amazing for their own different ways, and we talked about a number of amazing albums that are also amazing in their own different ways that don't quite make it to this list. But here's this list, and here you've got to decide. What's the album of the year?
Fuck. Are you narrowing it down at all? That'll be interesting to see.
Yes.
What are you narrowing it down to?
I'm narrowing it down to Limbo,
Okay.
Energy,
Okay.
and After Hours. So the middle three.
The middle three?
Hi, Nico.
Hello, Nico Cat. I'm limiting it to Energy, After Hours, and Shore. I think those are my three personal favorites, and I feel like those are a little bit more complete together than Limbo. That's my only thing. As much as I like Limbo, there is a tiny bit of filler in there and stuff, and some stuff that I think needs to be tipped off a little bit.
Yeah.
The other three are like, there's nothing I would touch and change on those three albums.
At the end of the day, it's about how it felt to me playing through as an album. Because it's album of the year,
yeah,
not
exactly.
like particular subgenre. And so album-wise, I would go with Energy by Disclosure.
Interesting. I would go, fuck. I actually have to agree with you. It's close
because
I almost want to give it a tie with. I almost want to give it a tie to After Hours because playing through as an album too. After Hours is almost impeccable as that bridge to pop, neo pop, and all this other stuff. That is a genre that I normally do not like, and there's a lot of crap and saturatedness in it. But from top to bottom is fantastic work, and it pushes it so far forward too. So I kind of want to almost tie it, and or might give the edge to Disclosure. Those are kind of like my opinions.
You know, it's really funny. I was willing to tie it and give it the edge to The Weeknd.
The Weeknd?
But maybe that's just the case that like we should absolutely tie.
You just tie those two? That's fine with me. Because so here's the other thing with the album. So RTJ4, love it. There is some stuff in there that needs to be topped off for sure. Limbo, same thing. I love it all the way, but there's some stuff that needs to be worked on. Energy After Hours, I talked about the Slow Rush. I really like, but it feels a little niche type of thing compared to the other ones.
Yeah.
And Shore by Fleet Foxes is incredible in its own way. I feel like it slows down a little too much by the end, but it does end very nicely. I just wish that it changed the order a tiny bit. Would have been how I would have made it like a perfect album. So
my thing with After Hours is, again, as an album, do I start to feel like it overweighs its welcome so much to an extent? And The Weeknd kind of bravely here went featureless, right? And I don't know if The Weeknd can fully hold up an album, no features together by himself. It's a lot, and he did a really good job, and there's a lot of emotion and passion in here. And so I think this is the closest thing to that. But there were times on second and third listen where a lot of times I listen to things more and I like them more.
Yeah.
I listen to it more and I go like, okay, Abel. All right, Abel. I sort of get it. Especially you have these like throwaway lines here that are sort of references to like his particular relationships and those things.
Yeah.
It's good to have those things there, but it gets almost like Taylor Swifty in a way, almost a male kind. Again, like maybe this is my old Weeknd as a fuckboy thing coming back here, but it was a thing that it felt hard to escape with me with some of these things. Again, acknowledging the beauty of this. Coming back to Disclosure, again, it's sort of like a potpourri approach where it's a little bit of all these other little things and some combinations here. I didn't like all the combinations, like Commons, for example, but it was at the end, and so I ended up liking it like decently to some extent.
And then there's some stuff in here that is absolutely beautiful too. So
yeah. I don't want to do a tie. I either want to have like one of these is a runner-up.
Yeah, I'll give the runner-up to The Weeknd, and then I'll give Energy the album of the year. I feel like it is because it also pushes electronic music that little bit further, and also Disclosure as a band too, as a duo of moving them up and up, and like not just from like restricting them to just a strictly dance club scene. There's so many other things you can do in here, like My High. You can put that in like a workout mix and a gym mix and so much other stuff. There's like Ce n'est pas, there's like you can make that almost into a chill thing. There's so much you can do with that album that's just there's a lot.
There's
very, very
neo-pop
good.
in there as well.
Exactly.
It's
combining all of the best sounds of 2020 into a thing.
It's a
basically.
smorgasbord of really good music. Although a lot of energy was produced in 2019. To be fair.
But it was released in 2020, so they get that.
Yes,
That's fair with me. I'm okay with that.
And like again, Weeknd I think cleaned with a lot of other awards.
Exactly, that's my thing as well. He was
So-
nominated a lot, and he got as much deserved praise. And I'm interested to see what he does in the future. Hopefully, he can keep it up.
Yes.
And we already know Disclosure's going to keep it up because they keep doing it. So
Yes. But these are the cream of the crop. I genuinely loved all of these albums.